Namaste, everyone. Happy Mahashivratri. Hope you're all having a wonderful day from wherever you're coming from. So if you're new to the stream, then, I'll try to answer all your questions today on anything to do with Eastern spirituality. We will cover a lot of this text today, the Īśvara Gītā, Lord Shiva's song, considering it's Mahashivratri. So, and actually we'll dive deep into a lot of the teachings on the Īśvara Gītā. So great to have you all with me today. And as I said, for those who are new to the live stream, remember those who ask a question on Super Chat will go to the top of the queue, but I'll try to get through all the questions, right? So who do we have? We have already, we have Mike, great to have you with us, my friend. Always good. You're always first in the queue. Excellent job. North Carolina. How is North Carolina today, Mike? Please let me know. So what do we have? We only have 8 in the room at the moment, so hopefully a lot more join. Make sure you guys like the video so it gets out to more people to see this live stream. And so I don't know if this time is going to work for all of you, but Luther, hi Jason, good evening to you. Good to see you. Good to see you, Luther. Luther, what time of the day is it where you are? Today, right now for me, it's 11:30 at night. So I hope this is good for you guys. Amir, hey Jason, how are you today? I'm great. Amir, thank you for being with us. Mike, warm and beautiful. Oh, that's awesome. If IFC fan from Canada, love it. Hi Jason, Montreal, Canada here. Always good to have you with us. Excellent job. So it's morning time for most of you guys, I'm assuming, and it's nighttime for me. So we're doing the opposite right now, just for Mahashivratri. But if it goes good today, then we will do this going forward. I don't mind staying up late. You know what I mean? It's not a problem for me. Sam, hi Jason. Good to see you from London. Sam, great to have you with us. Excellent job, Luther. It's 8:30 a.m. for me. Big time difference. Yeah, man. Australia, Luther. Australia is in the worst time zone in the world, you could say. That's why it was a lot better for me to be living in, especially like in India or even Southeast Asia. Time zones are a bit more friendly. But on the east coast of Australia, you are way out of whack especially with North America and Europe, right? So it's not so bad for Asia, but for North America and Europe, where most of my audience are, then that's where it becomes a problem. So we've got 19 in the chat. Make yourself known. Please let me know where you're coming from. Don't be shy. Make sure you like the live stream so we get this out to many people. And we're going to probably do a long one today, like for all you guys. So I hope all of you are semi-free. I'm not sure what the situation is, and all of Mike's coming from North Carolina, Sam from London. So I don't really know if people are still on lockdown or whatnot. In Brisbane, we haven't really had any of that. So my heart goes out to all of you. Atif, hi Jason from Pakistan. Atif, great to have you with us. Atif, I'm going to get on top of. I've already done that Ask Jason video, actually about a month ago. So it's in the queue. It'll be out at the end of the month. I know I've told you that many times. Leroy, hi Jason. It's 8:30 a.m. in Toronto. Leroy, great to have you with us. Wow, Toronto, Montreal. Oh man, North Carolina, Texas. Lyle, Katy, Texas. Love it. Trashinator, Indian ex-Christian, now Hindu. Love it. Love it. So Amir, I'm from Mud Weird Ball in the universe. Nice to meet you. Yeah, that's probably me too. Not too early for me though. Luther says it could be worse. Yeah, well, it could be 5 a.m. I hope. I don't know if anyone's on from the Pacific coast of the US, of North America. That's probably going to be a bit early. Carolyn, Darwin. Oh, I love it. Carolyn. Very good. Nick, love your channel. Was looking forward to this. Nick, great to have you with us. Like I said, guys, we're going to go into this text. We're going to go deep into this text. And also I'm going to do Q&A and everything. So the Īśvara Gītā, I'll explain this in a second after we get a few introductions out of out of the way with a lot of the people. Victoria, South Florida. Victoria, great to have you with us. Anita, namaste, and thank you, Jason. You and Guy are such treasures on NAMAH SHIVAYA here in Washington, D.C. Thank you. Guy appreciates it too. Like I said to you guys, if we get up to the 50,000 subs quick sooner rather than later, Guy said she will do the live stream with us too. I mean, we'll see how she goes, huh? So Carolyn says it's 11:05 p.m. in Darwin. Carolyn, it is 11:36 in Brisbane p.m. So, as you know. Phil, hi, Yorkshire, England. Phil, great to have you with us. Excellent job. Well done. Everyone, make sure you like the video. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you share it if you have an opportunity to share. To start the live stream, I wanted to actually say actually 8 phrases from the Īśvara Gītā. Now, when we talk about the Īśvara Gītā and we talk about Shaivism in general, right? And because today is Mahashivratri, we need to talk about, we're talking about non-dualism, right? So we're talking about non-dualism. And as you all know from watching my channel, I mainly cover the non-dualist philosophies of Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta, Taoism, and elements of Buddhism, right? So Zen. I mean, there's non-dualist schools in Mahayana, and also in you could say that there's elements of non-dualism and Theravada. So this text is primarily a non-dualist text. It's a Shiva text, and I'll describe the origins of this a little later. But first, I want to say to you guys. So in chapter 3, the first 8 verses. So this is something to contemplate on, especially when we're talking about non-dualist philosophy. And to set the stage actually for this text, the Bhagavad Gītā is a text about Vishnu is seen as Brahman, right? As the ultimate reality. But in this one, Shiva is the ultimate reality. So there's a bit of a difference in this text where we have Vishnu kind of playing an extra's role in this text. Like he's playing a little cameo to Shiva. Who have I got there? Mitch Dunwood. It's 7:36 here. I'm here because I'm Micah, nice to have you with us. And so Vishnu plays a cameo on this one, right? A little cameo. But Shiva is the main actor, so to speak. Shiva as a representation of Brahman. So the text actually starts off with the sages asking Vyasa, how do we attain Brahman? How do we attain the ultimate reality? And then you have this process of where Vishnu comes down and explains a lot of things. And then you have Shiva reveals itself, I should say. I was going to say himself, but itself being androgynous. And so Shiva being a representation of Brahman. And then you have this whole dialogue in this text of Shiva guiding the sages. As you can see with the picture, you have you have Shiva, and yeah, you get the picture. You have all the sages here, and so you have this process of an explanation of the ultimate reality. So this idea of non-dualism, right? So Mia says, what does Shiva really mean? Shiva kind of means really not to, right? So we're talking about this is pure non-dual, right? So it means Shiva literally means not to, similar to when we say neti, we mean not this, right? So that's what Shiva means. That's why Shiva actually, and I'll explain this a lot, Shiva became a path of renunciation as opposed to the teachings in the Bhagavad Gītā with Vishnu, where it's primarily a text for, we could say household / renunciates, right? So it's a text, maybe for us, because we all live we're dwelling and whatnot to get on with life. But this one is primarily a renunciate text. So really for the deeper spiritual practitioner. Now, before I go on any further, can some of you guys tell me if my voice sounds like Darth Vader? When I was doing the test the other day on this, my voice was sounding like Darth Vader, like it did in the last stream. So is it sounding deeper, or is it fine? Just give me you're good. All right. And picture is good. I've updated some of the equipment, so I'm making the live stream a lot more user-friendly for all of you. So the last live stream was an abomination, as most of you remember. So, you know, I had to update some equipment, and I had to get my DSLR camera on here and everything like that. So cut a long story short, what I wanted to say was just to get your mind into this non-dualist philosophy, right? The unmanifest Lord. Lord Shiva says to the sages, from the unmanifest came time, primeval matter, and the supreme spirit. You guys can still hear me? You still hear me? I dropped out for a bit there. Let's start over again, yeah? So the whole world was born, let's start again. From the unmanifest came time, primeval matter, and the supreme spirit. The whole world was born from these three. So the world consists of Brahman. It dwells in the world, enveloping everything, hands and feet everywhere, eyes, head, face, and ears everywhere. It appears to possess all qualities and all senses, yet it is free of them all. Supporting all things, it is eternal bliss, the unmanifest, free from duality. Without any object of comparison, its range is beyond the means of knowledge. The abode of all things, supreme immortality, beyond mental construction or semblance, undivided, yet appearing as divided. It is eternal, fixed and unchanging. It is without qualities, the highest space. This is the knowledge the wise understand. It is the self of all beings. Now remember here, self means Atman, undifferentiated consciousness, that which is identical with Brahman, right? But we language in it as self in this one. And I'll go back and forth when we talk about this text a lot more. It is the external, the internal, the supreme. It is I, all-pervading and calm, the highest Lord whose essence is knowledge. I, whose form is unmanifest, pervade this entire world. All beings dwell in me. He who knows this knows the Vedas. Now, the Vedas means here like the ultimate knowledge. So the knowledge of Brahman, right? So I wanted to read those. All right, I'm back. So it might drop out a couple of times like that, and just wait, and I'll be back. So I'm still here. So what I was saying is I wanted to read to you first to get your mind around this text, those first 7 verses, so that you can sort of get your head around this kind of non-dualist philosophy. And, you know, I mean, I must say that this is one of my favorite texts, actually, in the last few years that I've read. And so you have this text, which I'll explain a bit more, but I'll get through some of the questions in a minute. So, yeah, it's just one of my favorites. Like, and so I wanted to explain that to you because in this text, like I said, Shiva is Brahman. So keep that in mind. Self means Atman, the undifferentiated consciousness. And when I speak a little bit about this, and I'll mention it as I read some other parts, that when Andrew Nicholson, who translated this, mentions God sometimes in his introduction, I want to read to you some of his introduction to explain you this text. It's obviously God means the ultimate reality. He's not talking about God in the Abrahamic sense, right? So as you all know, I've got many videos and I explain that all the time, right? So let's have a look at some of the chat. Let me have a look. I don't want to miss anything because I love all you guys. So Terry Mardi, may all be liberated and free of fear. Yes. May you let go, peace and love to all. Yes, for sure. Does human mean the true nature? Does Shiva mean the true nature of a human? Yes, because Shiva means if you're talking about it from the Shiva perspective, from this perspective, where Shiva is a representation of Brahman, and Brahman being the ultimate reality, that which is beyond our comprehension, but which is also all-encompassing. It's immanent in all things, but it also transcends it, if that makes sense to you, Amir. So you have Brahman as that ultimate reality. So everything is one, but we're perceiving it through this lens of subjectivity, this localization of consciousness, which kind of, I don't know if you guys know that reflected prism, like that one white light that's reflected into, into a rainbow. That's kind of like how we are perceiving reality, right? That's the trick of Maya. And I'll talk about Maya in the text a bit later. So yes, Amir, Shiva does mean the true nature of a human in the Shiva perspective. Maybe if you're talking about it from a Vaishnava perspective, which is which has Vishnu as the ultimate reality. So Vishnu would be then a representation of Brahman, and then Shiva would be just a god beneath. But there's so many ways to explain it, Amir, because then in a Dattatreya tradition, Dattatreya is a tradition of the Trimurti of God. So Brahma, the creator, Shiva, Vishnu, the sustainer, and Shiva, the destroyer, which make up Brahman. So this process of Brahman that is an unfoldment in the manifest world, the manifest world in air quotes, right? It's all Maya. So fan from Canada, and you too, Terry. Amir, thank you. Okay, so some people are just clarifying that my voice is good. Thank you. Kind of reminds me of the Vedas and Upanishads. I wish your voice sounded like Veda. Micah, thank you. Micah, I will explain that in a minute, right? I'll explain what you just said in a minute, because it's very, very close and very similar to the Vedas and Upanishads for a reason, and I'll explain that. Mike, you sound great. Mike, thank you, brother. Terry, thank you, fan from Canada. Your voice sounds fine. Thank you, Luther. Yeah, good. Tiff, thank you. You guys are great. Remember, drop a question, guys, and if it's a good question, then I will pursue that. If it's not, I'm not saying that you're not going to have a good question, but it's something I can't answer, then we will move on with this. Micah, and what's TM say? Welcome all to our program in the birthplace of Virabhadra, our avatar of Mahadev. That's right. Micah, could Vedas also refer to the texts themselves? Yes, Veda. Yes, Micah, because you need to remember that Vedas was an oral tradition before Vyasa wrote them down. So the Vedas were a Shruti tradition. Now, Shruti in Sanskrit can be translated as what was. So I'm back. And so you have Shruti, and then you have Smriti, and Smriti is like traditional knowledge. So it's kind of like you know what I mean, like document. It's written down. It's not like what was revealed. So it's knowledge that was written down. So they would say traditional knowledge. So Micah, that would mean that the Upanishads, not the Upanishads, sorry, the Mahabharata, the Ramayana, the Puranas, all of the classical, like what you would think of as Hindu texts, like the great mythological texts, are the kind of like the traditional knowledge that came. The story goes that at the end of Dwapara Yuga, Vyasa wrote down all of this knowledge, and he even compiled the Vedas into 4. The Vedas were actually 1, Micah, but then as our intellect and our spiritual faculty and that were dwindling, apparently at the time, then before we move into Kali Yuga, then we need some sort of spiritual roadmap, right? Carolyn, I'm a student of Jyotish, the eyes of the Vedas. Love it, Carolyn. Thank you. I love Jyotish astrology. TM, we welcome all to Maha. Oh, okay. For sure. Sarah, grateful that I stumbled upon your channel some time ago. Thank you, Jason, for sharing your passion and knowledge. It's nourishment for the soul. Sarah, love you, my friend. Thank you. Amir, my question. Alan Watts says to have it is to give out all your money. I do agree with him, but also disagree because it's impossible to survive without money. What's your view on it? Yeah, don't go out and give all your money away, Amir. I mean, I think also Alan can be taken out of context a lot too, right? Like, so especially when he says like, what does he say? He says like, what if money was no object? So do things literally not for money. Now, it's true and false, right? Like, because you are 100% right that, you know, we need money to survive and we need to eat. I mean, like, it's, what's that old phrase? They say it's hard to be spiritual when you're starving. So, you know, it's better to have a little bit of food in the tummy and pursue your spiritual goals and your general goals. So, you know, it's funny because, like, if we look at it from different contexts, if we look at it from karma yoga, right? And we'll talk about karma yoga later from inside the Īśvara Gītā. If you look at karma yoga and you look at it from the perspective of nishkarma karma, so you're not attracted to the fruits of your labor. So whatever is bestowed on you, or whatever job you fall into, or whatever, just what generally just happens to you, is kind of like that. You need to trust that process and follow that, and you know, and see how that will unfold. And so, you know, there's a big thing obviously in India, people still follow that sort of system where, you know, whatever job you have, you do it to your best of your ability, and you just see where life will end up. And so that's, you know, a big part of actually Eastern spirituality, especially like if you look at it from Shaivism or Taoism, then it's kind of like you shouldn't overly pursue your goals, and you shouldn't have too much purpose. A video will be out in a few weeks about Wu Wei versus purpose, and this idea, especially in the West, right, where we need to pursue our goals and this and that. And in the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with that, but it can inhibit your own spiritual journey, especially if you understand in not giving away. You shouldn't, you know, you need to especially allow. Stream is crashing a bit. Yes, right. I'm here. I'm just waiting. Like when it does blip out a little bit, I'm just waiting a bit, and it's all it'll fix itself up. So, yes, I'm here. So I would say don't give all your money away. Obviously, if you're going to give all your money away and become a sadhu or a yogi or a hermit, yeah, but sadhus and yogis in that have to still live near society, right? So there's a tradition called the Shramana tradition. Now, the Shramana tradition is where you just walk, and whatever is given to you is what you eat, and whatever shelter you are given is what you take, but you don't actively go looking for it. So there's a story of when Gautama the Buddha was a Shramana, right? So when Gautama first left, I'm talking about Siddhartha Gautama here. When Buddha first left the kingdom, he became an extreme Shramana. So Shramanas, you know, they call themselves Shramanas, but some of them would go towards, you know, they're walking down the road. You're supposed to just walk straight, right? This is the idea, kind of the idea. Obviously, you got to navigate through the terrain, but they would go towards the city because they know they would get fed. But Buddha was fully extreme, and he would just go straight for days, you know. And then, as you know, if you just walk straight in the bush, who knows where you could end up. So, and that's why some of the depictions of Buddha are like skull and bones and this and that. So you have this whole Shramana tradition, but a lot of that, especially if you look at the modern sadhu and yogi traditions, then and also the Taoist sages, you need obviously you need food, you need some sort of sustenance, right? So yeah, it depends on, you know, how vexed or how focused you are just on money. That would be the problem, Amir. That's the problem. Like, as you see people in Wall Street and this and that, they're so, like, how would I say, like, they're just so consumed with acquiring money and consumed about wealth and consumed about status. These are where the problems happen, right? A lot of the things, especially in Taoist thought, is about having a modest living. So having a job, a good job that's not going to accumulate, you know, so to speak, a lot of karma, and, you know, have just a simple life that actually you don't need a lot of money, Amir. Like, and I've explained this a lot in a lot of my videos that personally I don't have a lot, and and I haven't had a lot of things for a long time, and that makes it a lot easier for me to sustain my life, right? So sort of the less you have, the less money you have too. The less money you need, actually. So, I mean, we can talk about that further too later on. Enjoyed reading, Sarah, enjoyed reading Effortless Living. Looking forward to reading your other books. Enjoy. Carolyn, donation is good too. Is good to do, that's for sure. Samanya Rahul. Sir, if possible, where does Jiddu Krishnamurti fit in the Brahma Shiva reality? Can you elaborate a little bit and give context to your question, my friend? Where does Jiddu Krishnamurti fit in the Brahma Shiva reality, the Brahman Shiva reality? Well, he is part of it, no matter where he wants to believe it or not. He's part of Brahman, because we're all part of the one ultimate reality. Maybe you're talking about his teachings. Well, clarify what you mean a little bit. Anupam Day, pranams from UK. Anupam, thank you. Ankansh Mishra, here you are. Haven't seen you for a while, my friend. What have you got? Where does subtle body exist? Does it exist in space or any subtle realm? If then, why astral body is shown in shape of human body if subtle body is beyond space? Please explain. I think we'll come across that actually in the text. It talks about the subtle body and that. So remind me of that. I want to explain it to you from the Shiva perspective, but to give you kind of a probably what you already know is that the subtle body is in the vicinity of your body, even though, how do we say, it's not attached to the body, right? So if you look at it from the sort of the wheel of samsara framework, if you look at it from the karma, the vasanas and the samskaras that you've accumulated that build your subtle body that moves on, that's not really, it's located, in this vicinity, but on death, it obviously moves on. Like, it doesn't die with the body. Is it beyond space? Well, that's something different completely. It depends on what you mean by space. Do you just mean space as in the empty space between us? And I'm assuming you mean that. And in that sense, it would be beyond space, because time, space, and matter or form are kind of the building blocks of the manifest world, while the subtle body is kind of related to the, how do we say it? Like, it is it's related to the samskaras, the vasanas, and the karma that you accumulate. So it's associated to this concept of also jiva. So, Luther, maybe not give all your money away, but do things to feel generous. The idea that what you give out comes back to you. Well said, Luther. Well said. Carolyn, you're breaking up. Yep. Stream crashing a bit. Guys, is the stream good now? Let me know if the stream is good. I think it's good. Mike, thank you. Mike, thank you. And remember, guys, like I said at the start of the stream, if anyone has a super chat like Mike with a question, that will be addressed straight away. But I'll try to get all questions anyway, as you know. Everyone who's familiar with my stream, you know that I try to get there. And remember, make sure you like the video right now. Make sure you like the live stream, because that'll help it get out to more people for Mahashivratri. Okay, let's go down a bit. Michael, you're doing a great job. Michael, thank you. Thank you. From Pittsburgh. I love it. Michael, I never got to Pittsburgh, but I've been to Philadelphia. Samanya, I wrote something up there. Yeah, I need more clarification, Samanya. Micah, the only time you do not need food is when you're Jane. Just ask Mahavir. I love it. All right, Michael, we have a few of your books, and they are well written. Michael, thank you for the support, and I hope you enjoyed the books, my friend. Carolyn, what sadhana are you doing for Mahashivratri? What am I doing? I won't be sleeping tonight. I'll do the live stream, and I'll do some more meditation. I was just doing meditation tonight before this. and reading the Īśvara Gītā. So just what I can do, Carolyn, just what I can do in Brisbane. It's not quite like being on a sadhana. All right. Tiff, Jason, what is your favorite Tool song? Oh, man. I don't know. Tiff, there's so many. I would say it's got to depend on the mood. I would say 46 and 2, but I'd be torn between 46 and 2, Lateralis, Reflections, and Patient. Oh man, there's so many. I mean, I don't really know. I don't really have a favorite. I've just had a group, but 46 and 2 is one of my longtime favorites. I mean, when I first heard 46 and 2 when I was like 16, I was like, who is this band? Stinkfist is another one, obviously. Oh, Kumar is back from Sri Lanka. Oh, of course I remember. Of course I remember. How could I forget? So I'm talking about his teachings and himself, Samanya. His teachings, well, obviously, Jiddu Krishnamurti's teachings are, you could say, in line with the idea of non-dual philosophy, because if you look at Jiddu's specific, his emphasis on that the me doesn't really exist, right? The I doesn't really exist. And he explains this through very technical ways, like when he explains like how knowledge is limited, right? Like even when we only our version of the knowledge, right? So it's a subjective view. It's a subjective view of reality. So that's how Jiddu's philosophy is very well, he became non-dual. That's how Jiddu's philosophy is very well, we could say non-dual. So that's why, I don't know if you know a lot of his talks, when he would say that the speaker, right? He wouldn't say Jiddu or him. He would say speaker, because he knew something else is going on here. And, you know, to be clear with his audience that, you know, he's just kind of somewhat a vessel, expounding the. That's why I really love Jiddu Krishnamurti's knowledge, and so is talking about the dissolution of the I, because the I is a construct. So if we look at it through Taoism, which talks about how our original nature is warped, if we talk about it through Vedanta, if we talk about it through, you know, Samanya. Let me know if the stream is okay at the moment, guys. Let me know if the stream is okay, because it dropped out a couple of times, but it's doing all right. It's hanging in there.